On Friday night, Ukrainian forces remained in Russia's western Kursk region as their unexpected cross-border offensive reached its fourth day. The Russian Defense Ministry stated that it was continuing to repel Ukraine's military, claiming that over 280 Ukrainian soldiers had been lost in the past 24 hours, a number that remains unverified by independent sources. Reports indicate that Ukrainian troops have penetrated more than 10 kilometers, 6 miles, into Russian territory, marking the deepest cross-border incursion by Kyiv since Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine began in February 2022. Although Ukraine has not officially acknowledged the incursion, President Volodymyr Zelensky mentioned on Thursday that Moscow must feel the repercussions of its invasion. The fighting in Kursk has been moving closer to a nuclear power plant, leading the UN nuclear agency to issue a statement urging both sides to exercise maximum restraint. Rafael Grossi, the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, called on all parties to take measures to avoid a nuclear accident with potentially serious radiological consequences. Some residents of the Kursk region were evacuated by authorities, with one group arriving at Moscow's central train station on Friday. Overnight, Ukraine's military announced that it had struck a military airfield deep inside Russia, destroying a warehouse containing hundreds of glide bombs. The targeted Lipetsk air base, located over 350 kilometers, 217 miles, from Ukraine's border, is the kind of operation Kyiv has long aimed to carry out. The destroyed weaponry is the same type that Russia has used to terrorize Ukrainian cities, towns, and military positions throughout the invasion. The military's statement also noted that the airfield housed Russia's Su-34, Su-35, and MiG-31 warplanes. Nearby Russian authorities confirmed a state of emergency in the area, reporting detonations at an energy infrastructure facility, and residents of 4 nearby villages were evacuated. Following Ukraine's strikes, Russia retaliated by attacking a shopping center in the Ukrainian town of Kostyantinivka, near the front line in the eastern Donetsk region, killing at least 14 people and injuring 43, according to Ukrainian officials. The attack also damaged residential buildings, shops, and more than a dozen cars. Shortly after Ukraine launched its offensive on Tuesday, the Russian Defense Ministry claimed that its forces were successfully suppressing raid attempts by enemy units. However, a video verified by BBC shows a different scenario, with a 15-vehicle Russian convoy damaged, burned, and abandoned on a road in the town of Oktyabrsko, about 38 kilometers, 24 miles, from the Russian border. The footage also shows Russian soldiers, some injured and possibly dead, among the vehicles. A federal state of emergency has been declared in the Kursk region, underscoring the severity of the current situation. Russia reported that up to 1,000 Ukrainian troops, supported by tanks and armored vehicles, entered the Kursk region at the start of the offensive. Despite the deployment of reserve troops and evacuation orders, Russia has been unable to slow the Ukrainian advance. This is more than just the probing attacks seen in the past. It is a determined assault that has caught Russia's military and the Kremlin off guard. For the past 18 months, Moscow has dictated the war's dynamics. Now it faces the challenge of containing this attack while also dealing with domestic criticism for failing to prevent it. Despite long-standing Western concerns about escalation, Ukraine's allies generally agree that this operation is within Ukraine's right to defend itself. Although he has yet to directly address the assault, President Zelensky stated in a video address on Thursday, "Russia has brought the war to our land and should feel the consequences of its actions." However, with Ukrainian forces still outnumbered by the Russians, the line between a strategic victory and a potential misstep is thin. On Friday, the Russian ruble fell 2.5% against the dollar, with traders attributing the drop in part to Ukraine's Kursk offensive.